Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and today I am bringing you something special. This is a new series that it's not going to be very long. It's about 7 videos, but this is a tournament that I have held in Rome 2 Total War. It's in anticipation of the Empire Divided campaign DLC that came out a couple of days ago, and the tournament had 8 players in it. And it was, 7 videos, so we got 4 in the first round, then we got 2 in the second round, and then 1 final round. And the winner of the match actually won a copy of the Empire Divided DLC, so it was really fun, something that I never really done on my channel before. And the main reason behind it is because I crossed 500 subs a couple of weeks ago, and I just wanted to really thank you guys for your continued support in my channel. I never really thought that my channel would grow this fast, and I think my channel's 11 months of content being uploaded, so not even a year, and I think last time I checked I'm at 561 subs. So thanks very much, I really appreciate it. And let's dip into this. So basically I'm just going to tell you guys the rules of the battle, and then we'll start with the first 2 competitors in round 1. And if you guys forget the rules, I'm going to be posting the rules in all of the videos in the description below. And if you really wanted to be part of a tournament on my channel, don't fear, because as soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers, I've had tons of people asking about a 12-12 tournament, so I'll probably host a fairly large tournament for that, maybe 16 players, possibly 32 players, and we could do it just over a month or something, and just get a really good host of players in for 12-12, and then I'll have to think of a really good prize for it. If I hit 1,000 subs pretty soon, I guess it could be a copy of the new Britannia Total War that's coming out, I think 2018, but they haven't announced exactly when that would be. But yeah, so let's look at the rules. So there was 8 players. All players had the choice of almost any faction in Rome 2. So they could bring any of the factions, bar the ones that are horse only. So I think like Royal Scythia and the Massagetae, who only can bring cavalry, because there is a cap on the cavalry. So any other of the factions was fair game. The only catch is that once you use that faction for 1 battle, you are not allowed to use it for the rest of the tournament. So you really had to be wise as to when you wanted to use Rome, Macedon, and other really powerhouse factions like that. And then as far as the other rules went, they're pretty standard. No artillery, no elephants, maximum 4 pikemen, maximum 4 of the same unit. So that would mean if you were playing as Rome, you could bring 4 Praetorian Guard and 4 Praetorians, but you couldn't bring 5 Praetorian Guards. So it had to be a maximum of 4 of 1 unit. And then maximum 4 cavalry, including the general, but I left the missiles open. There was no cap on missiles, because I wanted to kind of have like a little bit of fluctuation in the army styles. So you'll see in some of these players, some will bring 2 or 3 missiles, and some will bring 5 or 6. So I left that to their discretion. But without further ado, let's jump into the first 2 competitors. Alright, so here we have the first 2 competitors here. The first player is HAMDOG CDXX, and he is bringing the Macedonians right out of the gate using a very strong Greek faction. And he is facing the Red Celt, who is bringing the Iceni. So definitely different strategies in this first battle here. Obviously, the Greeks are known very well for their pikemen. The Iceni, on the other hand, in my opinion, have a little bit of an underpowered roster, and they would have no pikes available to them. But he does have chariots over here, which might be able to turn the tide. The only problem with the Britannic chariots like this is that they're kind of a javelin unit. They're nothing like the Seleucidan, the Egyptian chariots, and the fact that they're scythed. You can see that there's no scythe here whatsoever. So it's more of a skirmish chariot. They do get some good charge bonuses, though, as you will see in this battle. But let's take a look at the army compositions very quickly. So I am just always present as a Scythian Royal Horse, but we'll just ignore them for the battles. But over on this side, we've got HAMDOG's army. So he's got some Thessalian cavalry over on this flank, 2 units. And in the center, it looks like he has 4 units of slingers. And then he's bringing some hoplites, of course, standard hoplites. It's pretty much a given with the Greek factions. And then he's got levy pikemen. He's got 4 units of them, so bring in the cap. So they're not too overpowered. Like, they're still a decent pikeman, but they're one of the lower tiers that you could bring. So he's got 4 of them. And then he has a few units of thorax swordsmen over here. So it's good that he's bringing some swords to combat the heroic nobles of the Iceni. Because a lot of the spears, they're known for their staying power, but they're not really known for getting kills. And then he's got 2 more units of hoplites over here. Looks like they're supporting his cavs, so he's got another unit of Thessalian cavalry over on this flank, and then companion cavalry for the general. And which one would the general be? I'm not sure. Possibly this guy, I'm thinking. So there is the general. And then let's look over at the Iceni. So he's bringing some heroic riders over here, so he's got 2 units of them. And then he's got 2 units of chariots, because they count as cavalry. And we've already saw them. We can take a look and see which one is the general. I'd imagine it's this guy here, I think, because he's got a really nice golden helmet. I guess they're all kind of brass, but... And then, see, he's bringing a lot more skirmishers. So he's got 7 units total of Briton slingers. So, and he's got some Briton skirmishers, actually, as well. So 4 units of slingers and 3 units of skirmishers. I think his plan was to whittle down those pikes that he knows that HAMDOG will be bringing. And then he has 4 units of these chosen sword band here. They're pretty solid. And he's got 2 units of painted ones back here as well. These guys are pretty sweet looking. And then we have a druidic nobles. So they're kind of like the priests of the army. Maybe they bring some pretty crazy morale buffs with them. I've actually never seen this unit before today, before this battle anyways. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's go ahead and start the battle. A lot of these battles are under 10 minutes, so we won't be keeping you for too long. But basically what I'm going to do is group the battles for these 2 competitors into one video. So as soon as we see the resolution of this battle, then we will move on to the second battle and possibly the third if it goes that far. So the first and second and third rounds, they're all best of 3. So even if one of these players loses this battle, they still have the chance to make it up in a second attempt. But yeah, we've got the Macedonians moving forwards with their elite forces. And over on this side, too, the Iceni kind of setting up their skirmishers, but he's ever wary of this Thessalian cavalry over on the flanks. Looks like it's going to be supported by the hoplites as well, so that's a pretty good plan. He's going to get the good charge bonus off with the Thessalian cavalry and then move in with the hoplites to protect them in prolonged melee. You can see that the Red Celt does realize that he's kind of a little bit outflanked. He has only 1 unit of heroic riders over here that's going to be able to defend, but here we go. We got the first blood of the battle. We got the heroic nobles charging, or the heroic riders, sorry, charging into the Thessalian cavalry. But we've got another unit that's just flanking around over in behind, so we're going to have to be careful with that. Just turning on the HUD to see what else is going on. Yes, you can see that the chariots are actually being caught up very effectively by this Thessalian cavalry on the left flank. And the chariots are trying to escape, but unfortunately they're not actually as fast as the cavalry is. So the Red Celt's going to have to commit another unit of heroic riders in to slow them down so that the chariots can escape. And it looks like they only lost 1 chariot in that engagement, so that's pretty good. Over here, it looks like we got the general moving in against the slingers. HAMDOG is going to pull them back because he doesn't want to withstand the charge, and he's pushing up his thorac swordsman here, I believe. Yes, he is, and he's got his general as well, the companion cavalry. So he's got to be really careful with his general here. It only has 20 in the unit, so if he loses his general early on, that's not going to be a good thing. Oh, and it looks like they get bogged down a little bit over here. And we've got the hoplites in close proximity to kind of catch these chariots off guard. Luckily, the general looks like he's out of melee. And we've got some painted ones moving in over here as well. But we got a fantastic charge by some of the cavalry of the Macedonians. charging into these skirmishers. It's just fighting all over the battlefield now. But not so much of an infantry engagement as of yet, which is interesting. They're kind of just skirming each other, seeing who's going to win on the flanks before they actually engage. For HAMDOG, I think that he definitely has the advantage with the pikemen, so I would be pushing them forwards, which is exactly what he's doing. He's starting to move them into melee as well. But yeah, it looks like the chosen sword band was easily able to rout the cavalry, but no matter, because in the center, the red Celt really doesn't have anything to protect his skirmishers, as you can see over here. He's also losing this battle over here with his heroic riders to these hoplites. He's left them in melee, unfortunately, and it looks like they're going to be reinforced by some of the Thessalian cavalry. The general is still trying to inspire his men over here, but the chosen, the painted ones and heroic riders are getting pretty cut down. Over here we've got the pikes pushing forwards. They're going to be able to support these thorax swords. And the melee has begun. The pikes are pushing forwards, as you can see, trying to get an edge up. What do we got going on over here? Unfortunately, we got the druidic nobles being zoned out by some levy pikemen. But they are actually getting some really good kills against these guys. Really managing to penetrate the pike line. Since this is such a small unit, I probably would have tried to get this pikeman unit to have thicker ranks to prevent this, because as you can see, these druidic nobles are really just cutting them down. Oh, yes, there we go. Now they're even starting to be able to flank around the levy pikemen, but I don't want to hold there for too long. Looks like the hoplites are pretty banged up over here, but they are winning on that flank. The general for the Iceni is trying to get out of there. But on this flank, again, the Thessalian cavalry is just causing a lot of issues behind the Iceni lines. But the chariots are charging through now, actually starting to break this unit of levy pikemen for the druidic nobles. They actually did a lot better against the pikes than I thought they would. But unfortunately, it looks like he's going to be charging through his own men over here, which isn't too good. Let's see how things are going over here. It's just an all-out mess. The battle lines are really scattered over here. We've got a few of the thorax swordsmen kind of holding in behind here against the chosen sword band. Oh, there we go. He's lost his head. Yep. Right before they rout, it looks like. Oh, yes. Very nice. So yeah, it looks like the thorax swordsmen have been routed by the chosen sword band. This levy pikeman is now being pushed in the flank quite hard, so they're going to start to waver as well. There's another unit of hoplites that is still holding their ground against the sword band. But again, like, all these skirmishers are just being run down by the cavalry. And now the general is starting to be picked apart over here. As you can see, he's down to 13 men. Let's go ahead and jump into him. Watch him riding around the battlefield here. The druidic nobles are kind of pulling back to a better position. But unfortunately, look at all these Macedonian skirmishers. I would be getting this general out of here right away. He's just going to be picked apart if he doesn't move his general quickly enough. But it doesn't really matter, because we've got the companion cavalry for the Macedonians moving in to engage the general. That was a pretty soft charge. I don't know why they didn't get a better charge off. But yeah, they're going to start to be pulled down off their chariots by the cavalry. Yeah, they're actually just kind of riding down. I think that the red Celt might not even be aware of this over here, that his general is engaged in melee. I think he's too busy looking over here. These druidic nobles are actually surrounded by a hoplite unit, but with how we saw them perform against the levy pikemen, I'd expect them to do rather well. I love the colors too, surprisingly. Like, they look so drab, but yeah, definitely not to mess around with these druidic nobles. Nice, getting a good stab in the back there, even though he's facing you front ways. Very, very nice. Let's take an overview of the battle here just to kind of see what's left. So the balance of power is looking pretty good for the Macedonians, I believe. You can see that their chosen sword band of the Icenies is kind of in the center, so they are actually surrounded on all sides. The general is wavering over here. But, yeah, it looks like HAMDOG is just kind of picking them apart with some of his slingers. Might be out of ammo now, so he could be charging them into melee. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, these Druidic Nobles are routing the hoplites as well. Very interesting. So this unit must be very expensive with how well they fight. Oh yeah, they're going to get so many kills against these slingers, though. But yeah, they're starting to fall now due to the fact that the general's bodyguard had charged in there. But we got some chosen sword band in actually behind these pikes, but they managed to turn it around. Over in the center, we've got the chosen sword band. Oh, there we go. It looks like all of his units broke, so that's the end of the replay there. So I believe that that was a win for the Macedonians. So HAMDOG is 1 up on the Red Celt. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results here. Or maybe we're not allowed to see. Oh, I guess we're not even allowed to see with the replay. Oh, that kind of sucks. But that's fine. So let's move into the second battle. So in the second battle, HAMDOG will look to secure a spot in the second round against the Red Celt. But can the Red Celt claw it back and force a third battle? We'll find out in just a minute. Alright guys, welcome back. So here we are, and now I have switched sides just for balancing. So I kind of joined HAMDOG's side in the last one. Now I'm on the Red Celt side, just observing, but there was some wondering or whispers about team morale, which I don't really think matters that much. But so now we're sitting in behind the Red Celt's army, and he's playing as the Boii tribe. So these guys are a pretty powerful faction in and of itself. And he is facing HAMDOG once more, and HAMDOG is playing as the Bactrians. So again, choosing a very powerful Greek faction. So HAMDOG's really using up his Greek factions, but luckily there's quite a few of them. He's still got like Egypt and the Seleucids and Sparta and Athens, so he still has some pretty powerful pike factions if he needs them for later matches. But yeah, so let's take a look. We've definitely got a quality over quantity over here. So Red Celt's bringing a really small but quality force. He's got 4 units of these Oathsworn in the front lines. And then right in behind, he's got 3 units of Spear Warriors. And then he's got a Noble Horse. And then he's got 3 units of Heavy Horse over here. So 4 units of Cav total. I forgot to tell you guys, actually, what the money was. So for this first round, the money is 12k per player. For the second round, it's going to be 14k. And for the final round, it's 16k. But I'll put all that in the description as well. But yeah, so you could see, obviously, that HAMDOG has brought way more troops than the Boii tribe did. So let's take a look at his army here. He's got some Bactrian Royal Cavalry over here. These guys are pretty elite. 2 units on this flank. And let's see, he's got this open kind of tier formation. He's got some Bactrian Hillmen in the front, 4 units. They're pretty garbage, but I like how he's putting them in front to kind of maybe soak up some of the enemy ammunition. And they also will be a valuable unit if you can get a flank off on them. I just wouldn't charge headlong into the Oathsworn. They're going to get slaughtered. And then he's got 2 units of Scale Thorax Hoplites. So they look pretty sweet. So it's like the Thorax Swords, but they've got these nice long spears, which is nice. And then he's got some Thorax Swordsmen, 4 units of them. And then over on this flank, he's got Eastern Spearmen, which are even more garbage than the Hillmen. But again, if you can just overwhelm one of the flanks, then it might work out for him. Then he's got some Bactrian Noble Horse and some Bactrian... Oh, 2 units of Bactrian Noble Horse, sorry. And then right in behind, he's got 1 unit of Thurios Spears, and he's got his General Bodyguard, which is Bactrian Royal Guard, but they are dismounted. So looking pretty sweet, and there's the General right there, carrying his sword. So he is ready for battle. So Let's see what's going on here. It looks like we got some heavy horse charging right in. Let's go ahead and turn this on to play. They are in wedge formation going after the Bactrian Hillman. But HAMDOG's got some scale thorax hoplites that are going to support these poor hillmen that just got wiped out by that charge of Noble Horse. I would get them out of there immediately, though, because you can see they're already starting to be peppered down by javelins. And you do not want to lose an expensive cavalry unit like this, especially when you're down a battle. But yeah, he did manage to break the Bactrian Hillman, which is pretty good. Now he's kind of trying to run away, but the scale thorax hoplites are chasing them. Looks like a nice peel of throw from the Oathsworn as they charge into melee. And it looks like the scale thorax hoplites are going to try to get out of there, but they're not going to be able to. And yeah, the Oathsworn are just muscling their way through these hoplites over here. It looks like Red Celt's clumping up his forces, though. He can't really do that if he's going for a quality build, because if we zoom out, you can see that all of these Eastern Spearmen plus the cavalry is just really pushing hard on the right flank. On this flank, we've got the cavalry engaged as well. Looks like the general is already being pushed into melee. So we got an all-out cavalry brawl over here. I think that the Red Celt will win on this side just because of the sheer numbers of cavalry units he has, not to mention that they are Noble Horse, so they are insanely good. The only problem is that he is very outnumbered over on this flank. He has barely any cavalry. He's got one unit of heavy horse that's going to try to stop this tide from flanking around. But let's see how these Eastern Spearmen, or these Hillmen, fight these Oathsworn here. I can't imagine they're going to get very many kills at all. Yep, there we go. Yep, getting some good kills. We've got another unit of Hillmen flanking around over here, but they're not going to do too much. And then we got some Eastern Spearmen charging in here as well with their little cardboard-looking shields. But these Oathsworn, I think, are going to be fine. But nope, not anymore. They've got reinforced by some of the scaled thorax hoplites. So this Oathsworn unit is completely surrounded. You can see that combat is still even, though, just due to the tier of the troops that's attacking them. We've got a very solid line from the Boyai fighting this massive Eastern Spearman on this flank, though. You can just hear the clash of all the shields as they're trying to push their way forwards. But these Spear Warriors are going to hold their ground. Oh my goodness. Big charge there in the flanks by some of that Bactrian cavalry, though. Yeah, we got Bactrian Noble Horse slamming into the backs of these Spear Warriors, but combat is still even. They're holding out hope that they can win this. The general is in melee against those spears as well. I would probably try and pull him out of there. Over on this flank, though, we got some swordsmen and some hillmen fighting some Oathsworn. And then we got actually the Bactrian Royal Guard fighting some Oathsworn over on this flank as well. And I still think that the Oathsworn may outclass him here, but we've got an excellent charge again from some of the Bactrian Royal Cavalry into the backs of the Oathsworn. So that's what I mean. There's just too many units for the Oathsworn to really be able to effectively break them in time. Because for this, for the Oathsworn, as you can see over here, and the Spear Warriors, like, they will be able to break these units. They just broke 4 units of Eastern Spearmen. But the problem is that they're so outnumbered at this point, and they're just getting cycle charged to death, that they don't have enough time to break the units before they themselves become very depleted. As you can see, we had another really good charge by HAMDOG into the back of Red Celt's Boyai. Got the Oathsworn trying to knock the cavalry. There we go, knock the cavalry to the ground. Just hit him with his shield and just forced him right off. But yeah, let's give an overview of the battle again. We're down to the last minute and 32 seconds. So as you can see, it's not looking too good for the Red Celt here. He's really losing a lot of his Oathsworn. They're being kind of surrounded on all sides. His Spear Warriors, though, are holding in the center, which is good. But looks like we got some more of the Bactrian noble horse over here. Just riding forwards. They're just cheering, running down the retreating troops of the Boyai. We got the thorax swordsman over here. Oh, this guy lost his leg. There it is. You can see it there on the ground. He's got the old leg sweep on him. Here comes some cavalry trying to muscle through. But that wasn't a very good charge, so the Oathsworn may be able to pick apart this Bactrian cavalry quickly enough. I don't want to see up that horse's rear end, though, so let's look for a different camera angle here. Oh, I want to see another one of those leg sweeps. He was just, throat was cut as he was coming back from that combo attack. And there we go, costly enemy victory again. The Red Celt did concede. So that's pretty much it, guys. So the Red Celt has been eliminated. So if you're watching this, man, thanks so much for taking part. I really, really appreciate it. You fought the good fight, but HAMDOG fought it just a little bit better. So HAMDOG CDXX is moving on to the second round, and I hope that you will check out my other competitors. We've got 3 more round 1 battles before we move into round 2s. So as always, I will see you in the next one.